Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most enduring and, honestly, kind of puzzling figures in modern cinema, Tom Cruise. I mean, for 40 years now, he's been the action hero, right? The face of blockbuster movies. But there's this other side to him, this more controversial side it's fascinated and confused pretty much everyone for just as long. And this observation here, it really captures that tension perfectly. It's a comparison to Scientology leader David Miscavige, and it points out how even something as simple as his smile can feel off. It's like a performance. It can be both completely captivating and at the same time a little unsettling. So it makes you wonder, right? How can one guy be both this beloved hero and this controversial enigma? Who is the real Tom Cruise? Well, to figure that out, we need to look beyond the man himself and really decode the powerful public construct he represents. Okay, let's dive into this. The key to really cracking this whole puzzle, it lies in a concept from film studies called, you guessed it, the star persona. And here's the thing you have to get your head around. This star persona, it's not the real person. It has nothing to do with who he is when he's at home, in private. It's all about the powerful character he performs for all of us, for the public, a role he's playing both on and off the screen. So let's break that down. A star persona is basically this public identity that gets built up from a few different things. You take all the roles an actor plays in movies, and then you mix that with all the other stuff you hear about them, the official interviews, the magazine covers, and, yep, even the gossip. All of it gets stirred together. So yeah, think of it like a recipe with three core ingredients. First, you have the on-screen roles, the characters they play. Second, there's the official publicity, the story their PR team wants you to hear. And third, you've got all that other stuff, the off-screen information, and of course, the gossip. All right, so let's see how this all builds, starting with the social performance. Now, once you apply this framework, you realize the Tom Cruise persona didn't just pop up out of nowhere. No, it was perfectly, and I mean perfectly, tailored for a specific moment in American history. Think back to the 1980s. America was going through this massive change. Manufacturing jobs were disappearing, and that created a real crisis for what it meant to be a man, The whole idea of traditional blue-collar masculinity was kind of thrown into question. And right into that anxiety steps Tom Cruise. His persona offered a brand new, aspirational model. He wasn't the guy working on a factory line. No, he was the entrepreneur, the professional, the guy in a suit climbing the corporate ladder, the yuppie. He was the future. And just look at his most iconic early roles, from Risky Business to The Firm and Jerry Maguire. They all reinforce this exact same persona. They help to find a new kind of American male, aggressive, super competitive, and always on the way up. Okay, but that's just the social performance. If we dig a little deeper, we get to the psychological performance, the son versus the father. Because if you look really closely at his films, a much deeper, more personal pattern starts to emerge. It's like this psychological drama that just plays out over and over and over again. You see, underneath all that confidence, all that swagger his characters have, there's this recurring conflict, and it's deeply personal. I'm talking across dozens of his movies. Doesn't matter if it's an action flick or a drama, this one single theme is almost always there, providing the central tension. So what is it? What's this hidden psychological pattern that's really at the heart of the whole Tom Cruise persona? What's the story that really defines his work? It's this. It's almost always the story of a vulnerable son who's up against some kind of destructive or vengeful or just flat-out tyrannical father figure. Think about it. Top Gun, A Few Good Men, even Rain Man. This dynamic is absolutely central to his persona, and it's what gives his super aggressive characters this really unique and compelling vulnerability. And what's really fascinating is how this on-screen dynamic seems to echo his own biography. He's talked about having a difficult relationship with his own father, who he said had an explosive character. And after his mom left his dad when he was just 11, he started working multiple jobs to help support his family. So you can see where that on-screen tension might come from. So that brings us to the enduring performance. For decades, this whole persona, this white-collar hero with that hidden vulnerability, it was managed perfectly, like a well-oiled machine. But then in the mid-2000s, the whole performance was put to the ultimate test. Yeah, 2005.
A few totally chaotic weeks saw these moments where the incredibly carefully controlled persona just seemed to, well, break down right in front of our eyes in real time.
First, of course, there was the infamous couch jump on Oprah. And then, almost right after that, came that super confrontational interview on the Today Show. And the fallout was huge. It led to a measurable, and pretty shocking, collapse in his public approval ratings.
And to put a number on it, just look at this. By the time Mission Impossible 3 came out, the damage was done. Over half the public, 51%, had an unfavorable opinion of him. I mean, that is just a stunning reversal for who was, at the time, the biggest movie star in the world.
So what happened? Well, these were those rare moments where the performance just faltered. The public construct was seriously challenged by his off-screen behavior. Remember those three ingredients of the persona? The on-screen hero, the official PR, and the off-screen behavior? Well, this is when they all collided in a way that threatened to bring the whole thing crashing down. This raises the final question. Has the singular voice of the Tom Cruise persona finally run its course, or is he simply setting the stage for his next great performance?